Welcome to an alternate Hugh. I'm Hugh Anderson, and this is what caught my attention recently. Well, the bill is coming due. Do you remember the American Revolution? It took place between 1775 and 1783, while the French Revolution occurred between 1789 and 1799. But the fiscal revolution may be starting with the French this time around. According to Axios, the fiscal chaos that hawks warn will eventually play out in America is already underway in France. French financial markets are signaling they've had enough of reckless government spending. Investors have been selling French government bonds, making it more expensive for the nation and French consumers to borrow. Of course, it's easier said than done to get the government to go on a fiscal diet since all of their political parties campaign on expensive promises. Sound familiar? France has spent big euros to insulate the public from successive economic shocks including COVID, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the inflation crisis. France's debt has risen to 112% of GDP from 98% in 2019. The European Union requires members to keep their total debt below 60%. When is it our turn in the hot seat? Well, you can watch the dollar and U.S. Treasury yields. The market will tell us. So, as the base effects of the COVID-era inflation spike abate, so does the downward trajectory of the monthly inflation data. Take a look. The bond market has been priced in a soft landing and multiple interest rate cuts. But will the Fed cut? The Fed is concerned that the inflation genie, if it gets out of the bottle again, it'll be that much tougher to put back in. They may have to take a pass on cuts, and the bond market won't like it. Not one bit. Now, one key to successful investing is finding sources of scarcity and long-term supply-demand imbalances. For those of us living in the desert Southwest, one scarce resource is never far from top of mind: water. Rosenberg Research recently commented on liquid gold. The sheer part of the planet that is covered by water is 70%, but only 3% of that is fresh and only 33% of that is easily accessible for human use. A limited supply of readily available drinking water combined with a growing global population that uses more water than can be replenished by natural cycles means a crisis is brewing. Thus, companies focused on developing technologies for sustainable access to clean water, as well as water supply infrastructure, are expected to see a secular increase in demand for many years to come. We have to remember that emerging economies and developing nations have a dire need for clean drinking water. Rapid industrialization, rising population, and climate change are to be blamed for rising per capita water consumption. Blame? I'm not sure that's the right word. Add to this, pollution of waterways across the world makes producing freshwater availability ever more challenging. Freshwater usage done for agriculture, industrial, and domestic purposes has led to a more than 70% decline in renewable resources per capita from 1960 in much of the Middle East and Northern Africa, pushing a higher reliance on non-renewable aquifers and desalination to meet demand. And desalination is very expensive. So that's it for this week. The election is here and half of us won't be happy and the other half may be happy. But remember, we the people still have a say, at least over most of our conduct in our own lives. On the next Alternate Hugh, we'll talk about the keys to happiness, just in case we don't like the election outcome. Jump over to hightowerlasvegas.com to see what my teammates are saying about the election, the economy, and the markets. Until next time, I'm Hugh Anderson, and this has been an Alternate Hugh.